Welcome to the audio excerpts of special seminars and conversations with Nolan Narula on gettingpositivekarmanow.com.
How you can progress in life using very easily understandable principles of how things work in the universe, in terms of interaction, in terms of relationships, because whatever issues we face in life are all actually relationship issues. Whether it's a relationship with your body, whether it is relationship with the weather, your environment, you and yourself, other people, and situations. So we are going to have an in-depth exploration today of how, by understanding these 7 universal principles, you can actually move your life forward, whether you're a healer or not even a healer. If you are someone who is interested in progressing their life, just by using these 7 principles, paying heed to them, being mindful of these principles and connecting with them. So there's no huge database of knowledge that you have to access, or you have to memorize, or you have to get guidance on. It is a very, very simple matter. The tendency is to complicate life. The tendency is to give a lot more information that then you have to sort out, and somewhere along the line you say, "Kafi ho gaya, enough, just drop it, this is not working for me." You need something which is handy. So these 7 principles are going to be the handy principles. So we'll start by doing a short invocation meditation for receiving blessings and for inviting the other participants who are not present in the physical body. We will invite their light body to be with us. So please find a comfortable position to sit, hands on knees, wherever else it might be comfortable. And close your eyes. So please close your eyes, be comfortable. So we are gathered here today in an august assembly of healers and pious souls who are in good standing with the light of the divine. And that light is especially touching all those who are connected to Reiki or any other healing modalities, like the KQ force, by the grace of the spiritual master in the Reiki lineage. And we are very grateful for the presence of these special souls brought to us by the light. There are other healers across the world who also join us here today in thought and spirit. So let us take a few moments to welcome them and include them in this assembly, welcoming their light being presence here. And the healers may channel healing through the healing methods known to them, inviting them here, requesting divine grace for all of us present, that we have the wisdom to see the truth and then to act on the truth. Channeling the healing for all the participants present and in future, that would come to this august assembly of healers gathered here at the True North Health Center, A14 Anand Niketan, New Delhi, on Sunday, the 30th of August, 2015. If you wish to include other loved ones, family members in this gathering, please feel free to invite them here as well. Requesting the light to touch them for peace, harmony, wellness, and progressing towards their highest goal in life. With love and affection for all that they see, for all that surrounds them, with thankfulness for what they have and what they had received and what they will receive. All of us, what we have had, and will receive. Take a few deep breaths. And as you exhale, gently open your eyes. So, the 7 principles of Reiki. Reiki, of course, means the universal life force, and another word for Reiki in the Vedic terminology for a universal life force is, can anyone tell me what that might be? Brahma, spirit, universal life force, Brahma. From where comes the word Brahmin? Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. So that is an equivalent energy of Reiki. There's a slight difference, but basically both are universal life force energies at different vibratory rates. The Brahma energy is the outer layer, the aura, you can say, of the divine soul of the universe, of that divine particle who exists at the center of every atom, for whom the Vedic term is he who exists at every center of every atom, in other words known as Vishnu. Vishwa ke har anu ke andar jo hai. That steady, sthir, non-moving being. So the quality of the male energy, the divine male energy, is no transformation as such, no movement, absolutely steady and yet moving. So incomprehensible to the human brain, whereas the female energy is movement, change, transformation. So there's a combination in the universe of these two energies, and basically we are in the female energy aspect of the universe, also known as Devi Dham. Devi means female energy, and there is the male aspect, the Brahma spirit flowing, and then there is the female transformed aspect. So both are available to us. We are very fortunate to be connected to Reiki, the KQ force, and Brahma energies. So focusing on the 7 principles of Reiki, 5 are guiding principles and 2 are practical principles. So we will review the basic guiding principle one at a time, and then the expansion of it. Because today we are going to go deep into each principle and see how it applies to our lives. So when Master Yusui gave 5 guiding principles, A lot of deep meditation was involved. And these are practical teachings, you can say. So as practical as you want to make it. So the first principle is, just for today, I will live in the attitude of gratitude. So we should always feel thankful for what we have, and whatever we need will be provided. So whatever we meditate upon expands by the principle of like attracts like and energy follows thought. And those who are healers have experience of it, that, and those even who are not healers, we just point out for them that when you meditate or think of something, that emotion related to that thought process, whatever the content of what you are meditating upon, tends to multiply in your consciousness. Isn't that so? When you are meditating on something which is very nice, very happy, very good, your body reacts to that, your consciousness reacts to that, and you feel good. And on the other hand, when you meditate on something which is negative, that seems to multiply in your life. Then you do not see anything positive. It's not that the positive has disappeared, but you are focusing on the negative. And similarly, when you focus on the positive, it's not that the negative has disappeared, but the power of the positive is more than meditating on the power of the negative, simply because the power of negative, when you meditate on it, makes you inactive. You become helpless. You become unable to move. How many of you find that? Do you find that is mostly true, somewhat true, or always true? Always true? Yeah. And then when you start to focus on the positive, even the negative can be rolled over very easily. You can roll over it, you can drive over it, you can walk over it very, very simply. So it makes sense to increase the positive in terms of your consciousness, because that is the power that pushes you forward. So I remember a long time ago, when I was in school or college, I remember reading a book by Norman Vincent Peale. I think it's called The Power of the Positive Thinking or something like that. You know that book? So basically this is not a new principle, but it is conveyed in different forms, in different ways, depending on time, place, and circumstance. So just for today, I will live in the attitude of gratitude means that, especially if you have Reiki empowerment, it means that your normal healthy state will multiply, which is a state of good health, of sufficiency, of having everything you need, and that will be an abundant stage. It means that dis-ease is missing. So when dis-ease is missing, there is going to be health. Yesterday somebody was telling me, we had a little conversation at lunch. I had lunch with an old friend, and he was talking about how the darkness, from the darkness you have to go into the light of wisdom and thought and so on, and striving to transform the darkness into light. So I just gently pointed out that basically the darkness can't transform into light. But where there is light, there is no darkness. So instead of trying to fix your every little depression, every little piece of negative thing, if you fill the place with positive light, with the healing light, with love and light, the negatives will not stay. They cannot. So it's a single solution. It's a very elegant solution. It's a practical solution. If you keep saying, but I'm in pain, I'm in emotional pain, I'm in this trauma, I'm that trauma, but this happened and that happened, you are saying basically you're hypersensitive to everything. Well, there is medicines for that, but besides the medicines, you got to fix it by covering everything with light. And once you do that, there is no more darkness. Right? Any questions so far? Okay. So we move on to what would be the fundamental basis of gratitude? Why would you feel thankful, even in a bad situation? Tell me. Why would you feel thankful? What would you be actually thankful for? And what does it mean for you? In the good as well as the bad. Think about this for a moment. Yes.
So we would be grateful because whatever happens in our life, it happens for a reason. So even if something negative happens, there is something that we learn out of it.
Everything does happen for a reason, but when you're in that negative, what are you thinking? You're not thinking it's for my good, are you? What are you thinking? So my question is, why aren't you thinking it's for my good? What stops you from thinking it's for my good? Only one thing. What is that? Think about it.
Resistance.
Yes, what kind of resistance?
The ego is hurt.
Yes, the ego is hurt. And what is the resistance then? Good, that's good. Huh?
Self-pity.
Yes, self-pity, feeling sorry for oneself. So what does that do?
It makes you helpless.
Makes you helpless, makes you inactive.
No distrust in self.
Okay, say what is that?
No responsibility.
Responsibility, that's the key. Good. So it's a lack of taking personal responsibility. So think of the word responsibility, it's actually two words. The ability to respond is the response ability. Response ability. So this is a strength that you must cultivate. You may get a body blow, but what is your responsibility? Back up and off and running. No problem. Absolutely no problem. If you can't get up and run with this, then there is a problem. So I was discussing with my friend at lunch yesterday, and I told him about what is happening in our life personally, and he was saying that he was very disturbed. And he said, I'm actually grieving. So I said, why are you grieving? So he said, you must be grieving. I said, no, why am I grieving? I'm off and running. I'm just, getting my new direction and fixing things in my life, and I'm extremely happy and I'm extremely positive. There's no unhappiness, right? And that isn't there because I have taken the responsibility to do something and I'm going ahead with it. It is not stopping me from executing my purpose of life. You lose a battle if you stop executing your purpose of life and you are not able to have the responsibility. So strengthen your responsibility. You can distribute. Just pass them down. They'll take it. Once you take personal responsibility means that you are understanding that you are accountable for karmic consequences for what you do. And once you do that genuinely, all the help you need from the universe will come. It comes from every direction. So you need to focus on the fundamental reason why you will be grateful, and ultimately you will be grateful. At the bottom of it is that you have a capability to respond to the situation or situations that you face with great strength and stability. You're not shaken. You may be stirred, but you're not shaken. So that is the reason why you would be grateful, is because you know only you can fix your problem in life. I'm thankful that I have the understanding and the power and capability to fix my problems. I'm not waiting around for anybody else. If I'm hanging around waiting for others to fix my problems, they'll never get done. I'm not talking about, mechanical things like, you get your car repaired. I mean, obviously, you're not going to repair your own car unless you are in that business. But you know where to send your car, you know how to get it done, you know a reliable person. You get it done. Don't hang around waiting, what to do. So your car of life, fortunately or unfortunately, you can't outsource the fixing. You can get all the inputs, you can get all the information, but you cannot outsource moving forward in your life to anybody else, whether it be your friend, whether it be your employer, whether it be your spiritual master. They're not going to drive your car for you. Think about it. Has anybody been able to drive your car, and if so, for how long, and what has been the cost of it? When you're outsourcing, some of you may have outsourced over the years. Please take care of my life. I don't need to think for myself. I'll just sit in first class, relax, chill out. Here's the energy exchange, here's the money. And what did you experience? Tell me. Yes? What is that? Crashing in you? Good and bad, both, or some, or no, not some?
Laziness.
No, that's laziness. I'm talking about result.
And in anger, sir, because you're waiting for the results and they're not coming.
They're not coming.
Frustration.
Yes. So you will be frustrated if you wait for others to fix your problems. That's clear. You have to fix your own problem. You can get help. Yes, absolutely. Seek help. Seek expert advice. Seek guidance from people who know this because of their experience and because they have seen many, many cases like yours. They have been able to help them to be able to resolve issues. Yes, go to such an expert. And then use your own intelligence, not your false ego thinking, what does the expert know? Well, the expert is the expert because he knows and you don't know. You're ignorant. Recognize that. So upgrade your knowledge base. What else can you think of? How else do you outsource things in your life? Think about it for a moment. And how does that work out for you? What is the price?
So like every time we met you in a personal appointment, we discussed the very business problem.
Right.
Problem. You gave us a very open-ended advice, and we chose whether or not to act on it. And
Right.
whenever we acted, we moved very fast.
Right.
While when I became a healer, I made one point: I'll never go to a restaurant. I'll never check my horoscope, and I would take the life as it comes. But over the years, I developed a dependency where I could check every business decision also through the clairvoyance. I'll seek the clairvoyance guidance for that, and that delayed a lot of things, and I lost that ability of being spontaneous at the moment. And if it worked out good, I'll be happy about it. If it didn't, I will beat myself up that probably I didn't do something right, or it didn't went on the direction. So, and sometimes we, because of the delay of getting the guidance or acting on it, we also lost the transaction itself, because we could have taken that moment to take the decision, but we didn't, because we waited for the guidance to come. So I think we were outsourcing our business decisions also.
Right. Anyone else?
I agree with what she's implying. I agree with that aspect. There's been a lot of delay in taking action on various things, and just not taken action in very many situations. But of course, there have been a lot of things have moved as well. Because that's we're grateful to healing and grateful to Master for that.
The problem with outsourcing is that with the outsourcing model is that when things do go well, that's fine. That keeps you on the hook for looking for outsourcing, even after things go bad. But you'll find small bursts of things going okay, and then large times when it's not going okay, even though you're outsourcing. So you're waiting for that, your track record may be 20% good or 25% good or 30% good, whatever it is. Then you're trying to achieve more than that, and that doesn't happen. You were saying something, Arun? Yes.
Yes, I've seen that if I outsource something and the result is not to my liking, then I tend to blame the other person to whom I outsource the job.
Of course.
But if I'm doing the work by myself, then I have no one to blame.
You have no one to blame.
And I'm more lenient. But
Yeah, so lenient is also not so good, because then you end up doing nothing good, to help yourself. So you have to have both these things covered. That you need to be very clear where you are outsourcing your responsibility. Are you outsourcing or are you delegating? They're two entirely different things. If you are giving a limited mandate to someone, okay, I hire you to paint this room, that's a delegation of the work. Outsourcing is, you create the room for me. I'm going to sleep. But that doesn't work too good. So you have to find a difference between outsourcing and delegation. You can delegate certain things, but you cannot delegate your entire life. So think of it like that. You've delegated somebody, you are in control over my life. How is that working out for you? Yes.
Is that basically we lose connectivity with the guidance which we get from inside, and we don't learn much?
No, it depends from which inside are you getting the guidance. Are you getting it from your false ego? Are you getting it from fear? Are you getting it from greed?
When we do healing and when we are guided?
No. When you're healing and you are guided, how do you know that the guidance is correct? It's not that I did, I had 1 spoon of healing and now everything that I think is going to be perfect. Absolutely not. That is false ego. We have said this many times, there are always 2 major voices inside you. One voice is the voice of truth, the other is the voice of fear. And at one time, one voice will be stronger than the other. You should pay attention to the one which is stronger. Whether it is fear, whether it is the truth. And the reason for that is as follows. If you are fearful about something, by paying attention to it, you examine it. It's not that I follow exactly what my voice is telling me, but let me pay attention to that voice. Let me hear it. Let me listen. What is the fear? And when you start examining what is the fear, you may find that that fear starts to diminish, because you are now examining it in the light of analysis and comparison as to what does this mean for me. Is this a matter of life and death? If yes, then the answer is very simple. I better save my life. Is it a matter of my false ego? I am feeling hurt, I am feeling humiliated, or I am losing some social capital, I am losing face. Okay, what can I do to mitigate or minimize losing face? If that is a major concern, you find the fear will disappear. You may be cavalier enough to say, okay, I don't care. And usually when you say I don't care, it means I don't care because I really can't do anything about it. It doesn't mean I don't care, full stop. It means I don't care, brackets, because I can't do anything about it, so, might as well suck it up and let it be. But that doesn't get you in a good place, you feel frustrated. So that's not the way to go. So the way to go is to understand, what is my fear telling me? What am I afraid of? Why am I afraid of facing my fear? Talk to me. Mr. Fear, what are you saying to me? Let's have a dialogue. So let your fear talk to you and tell you what is the anxiety. And then the truth, if that voice is very strong, it's good to listen to minority voices also. So at that time, the minority voice is the fear voice. And it is saying, hey, if you do this, you're going to have that problem. Okay, I'll pay attention to you also. But I will be guided by my final decision. So that brings us to the next principle. The second principle of Reiki. Just for today, I will not fear. Before we get into just for today, I will not fear. Is there any question about what I just said?
So basically, being friendly with the voices.
Yeah, be friendly with the voices.
Not to.
Not to reject out of hand, oh, I don't want to look at it. Yes. Don't hug it and don't run away from it. That's the thing. Neither hugging it to your chest so that when it's too close you can't see, and when you run away from it, in any case you can't see. But your movement is different. The fear is then going inside, or you are so fanatically attached to the truth that you don't care for the consequences. So one of the good things that one can do when you're in doubt, don't speak. Don't say. Don't take a decision. Postpone it if you can. If it is imminent, urgent, exigent, then you need to take a decision. You need to act rightly or wrongly. The more balanced you are, the better decision you will take. So that's how you work with fear. And that's how you work with gratitude. So the gratitude can be, thank you for telling me, Mr. Fear. Why shouldn't I be grateful to fear? Let me be grateful to the fear because it is trying to protect me, rightly or wrongly. I have always the right to tell my bodyguards, okay, now you step aside. So if fear is part of my bodyguard entourage, trying to protect some part of my body, my ego, whatever it might be, of apprehensive about future consequences, thank you, I'll talk to you. I've heard what you said, now the decision is mine. You're in charge. You are the chief executive officer of your own life. You're the CEO, the managing director. The chairman is sitting elsewhere. Chairman is guiding you. Chairman has given you a mandate, fix your life. Here's the wherewithal, I've given you the resources. Go and fix your life. Do it. You have any issues, refer back to the chairman. But you can't go to the chairman for every little problem. What are you a managing director of, in other words, then? You're unmanaging. Questions? Yes.
So can gratitude be cultivated or
Can what? Gratitude?
it has to be cultivated?
How will you cultivate it? Yes, it can be cultivated, but what is required to cultivate it? Tell me. What do you think? When you say that, you must have some idea how you might want to do that.
So because I was thinking, is it like a spontaneous thing or do I have to remind myself?
If it's spontaneous, you'll keep waiting and it will never happen. Then, what do you have to do to be grateful?
Is it dialogue or
No, the fundamental point is that you have to understand that you have the power to change your life. That's what you're grateful for, that all the other outsourcing, all the other funny ideas that you had that you didn't have the power, somebody else has the power, actually you have the power. So that is the basis of gratitude. I have the power to change my life. I'm grateful for that. So if you can just remember that one thing, I have the power to change my life, and I'm grateful that I have the knowledge that I have the power to change my life. I'm grateful for that knowledge. Now, how do I make that more stable is by cultivating the realization in practice that I have the power. I have the knowledge. Nobody else can do it for me. I have to be the one to take the first step. And when I take the first step, when I move forward, all the help is going to come, and as it does. So that is why you're grateful for everything. You can't be grateful for everything in a vacuum. There has to be a reason. So what is the reason? This is the reason. That I have the knowledge that only I can do it. That is liberating. I'm not waiting. I'm stuck, anchored here. That one will fix it. That one will fix it. The outsourced guy will fix it. My consultant will fix it. It's not happening. You have healing power. You have Reiki power. You have KQ power. If you're Brahmin, you have some Brahmin power. Use that to fix your life. That's why you're grateful. So when you work with this on a daily basis, there is no laziness anymore because nobody's coming to help you if you don't help yourself. Once you start helping yourself, you will find so much help, you'll just be pushed along in the tide. It's huge. The time that you will experience this is in a time of crisis. If you maintain that attitude, it's fantastic. You'll be moving so fast, nobody will be able to even see where you are, where you're going. You'll be moving so quickly, so fast, so swiftly, and so, you can say, rapidly responsive. You'll be very flexible because you're in movement. And you're at a high intensity movement because you're dealing with something. You've suddenly woken up and you said, okay, I can fix it. It's no big deal. Help is coming. Send the healing. I'm just waiting, send healing. Oh, there are no troops. The troops will come once you start. The troops are all available. This has been our experience in life. In many crises that we have been through, this is what we've always found. You get moving, you get up and start running, and everything comes. There's no other way. Absolutely none. Questions? Yes.
It's basically when you see yourself as a victim, then you're helpless. The moment you know your position, that you are in power and you have to change, then you start working towards that. So
Yes.
that needs to be corrected for me.
Yeah. So the thing is that when you use terms like victim, they're loaded terms, then we have certain idea what it means to be a victim. So rather than saying victim, look in terms of being unresponsive. Don't classify yourself and judge yourself as a victim or as a victor or anything like that. You see that what is the action, have it action based. Have your classification action based. Am I reactive? Am I responsive? Am I inactive?
So that is being emotional based, this is being action.
Yes, so when you get out of the emotional zone, you can move. When you are in the emotional zone, you can't move. Right? So explore this. When I'm thinking, how can I do this? I have this past history with the person. Or, if I do that, the person will get upset and then that will have a downside. Those are all emotional things. So look at the practical aspect. What's going to happen if I do this? What's going to happen if I do that? Forget about the emotion. For the moment, set it aside. Pick it up whenever you want. But no emotion. It is just a response. It's like, the emotion that you will have when you are faced with these things is going to keep you rooted to the spot. And that's not what you want. So the only way to get out of it is not to be rooted to the spot. Use that emotion as a power source to drive you in the right direction. So if you are having a particular emotion, whether it be fear, whether it be happiness or excitement, use that as the fuel for you to move forward, to take responsibility in any case. Because you can use the fuel of fear, you can use the fuel of goodness, you can use the fuel of excitement, enthusiasm. All these fuels can be used. But the greatest fuel which is constant is that if you have the fuel of what is your purpose and direction in life, that is a constant fuel. Constantly available. Where am I going? And in order to get there, what do I need to do to best be able to get there? Okay. Okay, so that was the attitude of gratitude with a little bit of what do we do about fear. Any questions about attitude of gratitude as the principle and the fundamental reasons for it and how to activate it in your life? That is clear. So what will activate it in your life? Tell me. Taking responsibility and doing the action. Listening to whichever voice is stronger within you at that moment, whether it's fear or it's truth or anything else, and having a dialogue to discover why that statement or that feeling or that conversation is happening. So don't leave it one-sided. Explore the conversation within yourself. Yes.
So I had an observation regarding attitude of gratitude.
Okay.
There was a time when I was not connected to the healing energies, and there's a time when I'm connected. So the biggest gratitude I feel is the very fact that I'm connected to the healing energy. I feel grateful for that.
Of course.
Because that is opening up so much of avenues from my life.
Right.
So I feel that connection is something I'm really grateful for.
Sure.
And I shall remain forever in my life.
Great. Use that to search out the truth in everything else.
Yes, sir.
So that will also help you to be able to be responsibility, everything will happen.
And so another thing that it's a fact in life that after I got connected, life has transformed.
Right.
It was not that things were the way they are now. Definitely things have transformed.
Sure.
Definitely better opportunities have come in front of me.
Right.
I've been able to tackle things only because of the healing energy.
Right.
Only because of my connection with the Master.
Correct.
And this is something we can't forget in the moment of life.
I'm very glad you brought this up because, being connected to the divine healing grace is the greatest thing that you can achieve in life going forward. And how to use it is the next part in terms of helping you along in your life. So, while we've been talking about that aspect, we have not quite focused on the fact that without the healing, we are not really going anywhere. So that's good you pointed that out. So that gratitude is there as a fundamental base for everything else that you do. So that's a very good point. And also the fact that you need to act. It's all about acting. Action. Karma.
You've been listening to a discussion with Nala Narula on www.gettingpositivekarmanow.com.